Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby or you're a new subby, thank you so much for your support. You know it truly does mean the world to me. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. If you haven't got your seat yet, there are still spaces on the Winter Solstice Alignment Activation Session. If you want to see what 2020 has in store for you personally, and we know what kind of year it's going to be, right? Please get your seat now. With that said, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look. See, when I went into my intuition for you guys this week, what I actually saw was the sun coming up, and then when I went into it a little bit deeper, I was like, that doesn't feel like the message. The sun is in Scorpio, I understand that, universe, but what else is there? And then what I saw was you, Scorpio, whoever you are. I saw a man on his own, a woman on her own, and it was basically saying that this week you need to revoke isolation, right? That moment where you want to be on your own, that moment where it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to do peopling, I don't want to, you know, this is not a week for that. You need to fight against that. You need to fight and rally against isolation this week. And most of the time, Scorpios are good with their own company. You know, they like to think deep. They like to, you know, maybe just have them and their partner or just them and their loved ones, and that's kind of it. But, you know, for the most part, loneliness doesn't really faze them. This is not a week for that. Revoke loneliness, whatever that means to you. This is a week where you have to do peopling, all right? It really is a week where you'll get the most out of it as well. You'd be pleasantly surprised how interacting with other people this week will really serve and benefit you well. Your destiny card for the week ahead is the Devil card. Where is it that you are too attached to your own company? Where is it that you are too attached to a specific way of things being? I got to be honest with you, right? We've got your ruler Pluto is currently in Capricorn. The Devil card represents Capricorn. Pluto and Saturn are both in Capricorn at the moment, which represents very big, deep changes to the structure of your life in some way, shape or form. And the Devil card in tarot is about what you're attached to. It's about what you're possibly even almost addicted to, right? And I say almost because not everybody has an addictive tendency or pattern or personality, but Scorpio clings, right? That's what the claws are about, like to go deep into things, that penetrating sting with the stinger, you know, with the tail. That's one aspect of it. But the other part is to cling, to hold on to something. Scorpio is fixed water. That's ice, right? When you talk about fixed water, you're talking about ice. And in that respect, it can be very rigid and stuck on certain ways of doing things or experiencing things. So where it is this week that you need to interact with other people, you're also going to have to remember that other people are subject to change. Not everyone is going to remain the same, you know, and that's the thing, because you guys are quite constant. It's a thing for you, you know, when people change too much or deviate too much from the way that things usually are. It's not absolutely set into you, but it's kind of like, no, can't deal with that. All right, but think about that this week. Let's give it some context. The Five of Swords. This is about the smaller battles. It's about the, you know, having words with somebody. It's about sometimes people forcing you to act in ways that are not true to who you are. And the Five of Swords as well, it's very often about disputes, right? My advice to you is don't hang on to it this week, right? Whatever dispute or issue you've had with somebody or had going on with somebody, don't hold on to it, because if you hold on to it, it's going to fester and it's going to become way more than it actually is or actually needs to be. So you're being asked this week to find a way to let it go, right? And that's not to say don't be yourself. I'm not even saying you have to forgive, but you do need to release. All right, that's something that you need to think about this week. Revoking isolation takes compromise. All right, so think about that. For those of you that are celebrating this week, I would love to say to you, happy birthday to you. I hope you have an amazing solar return. Make of it what you will, whatever you want your year to look like. My old astrology teacher used to say this to me. Whatever you want your year to have in it, do a little bit of that every day. Do a little bit of that within that whole day. So if you want to go out and meet and socialize with people, do that even for an hour on your birthday. If you want good food and good wine, have those things on your birthday. If you want it to be about building networks and connections, put an hour into that. Fill your solar return day with a little bit of everything that you want to experience over that year. All right. And finally, your insight card is the Page of Wands. I love this card, especially in this deck, because it's just so beautiful. You see the way even that young person, like that, he's just so focused on the magic, right? He's so focused on what he's wanting to create, so focused on what it is that he is bringing into the world. And the pages are very similar to aces. So always about new beginnings, but this is about a new beginning of inspiration. The only way you are going to find new inspiration this week, the only way that you are going to find the impetus, the energy, or even possibly the resources that you need in order to create the next thing that you want to bring into the world is by interacting with people, by interacting with the world, by getting out there and working with, dealing with, collaborating with, meeting with, connecting with people. Right, so revoke isolation this week. I know it will be really, really easy to do because we're in the last, we're heading into, especially towards the end of the week, we're heading towards the dregs, like the last bit of this Mercury retrograde. Fight against that, right? If anyone can fight against it, it's you guys. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. If it's too personal, send me an email. Lots of people do. Take care, and I'll see you soon.